Welcome, super entrepreneurs, to another Biz Coach Reacts video. Let's go.
Look at this, guys. Here we are, world-famous Bourbon Street, one of the greatest destinations in the world. There it is, Turtle Bay, and nobody is walking in there.
World-renowned bar consultant John Taffer and his experts have set up shop across the street.
I mean, there's no people walking in there, but there's definitely some people. I mean, it actually looks like there's people looking at the camera.
the ones that know that they might be on a show.
Yeah, right.
Monitor the night's recon.
People think just because it's on Bourbon Street, you can be successful. But places fail here all the time because it's so damn competitive. Usually in most bar environments, we're focused on length of stay. In a tourist market like Bourbon Street, they're not going to stay long because they want to go out onto Bourbon Street and walk up and down. So this bar is all about quick capture, quick sales, and sending them on.
They have to do something to bring that customer in, or else they're just going to keep walking by.
For the bar, John has called in Ricky Gomez, the first Diageo world-class U.S. ambassador. A New Orleans native, Ricky knows how to cater to this particular tourist market.
The next thing that's fascinating is that roughly 80% of the drinks that are sold out of these bars are to go. That's why every bar in this street has to be the best of the best.
To help with the kitchen, John has brought in Chef Ron Duprat, a native of Haiti. Ron has 26 years of experience combining Haitian Creole flavors in surprising ways, and he is the best specialist to give this bar a Cajun kick.
Everything he makes, I want to eat.
Yeah, oh, really? So have you gotten to taste some of his food or the recipes that he's made?
Just on whatever they had still remaining at the place, which probably changed over the years.
Is that
still?
Is that a thing? Like, do they change that many
Sometimes
things?
I've noticed some things they push as the same. They'll even have it on the menus that'll say featured on Bar Rescue, and pretty much doing it to a point. And then you can kind of tell where they reverted to other stuff. I mean, that's over years. Businesses are going to change and add new things, get rid of things, see if they work or not.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I to me, I just I'm curious as to how hard it is to have a food regiment or a food offering there on Bourbon Street if they literally just said the goal is to get them in and get them out so they get back on the street.
Yeah, you got to have a mix of both, I say. People that want to actually take a break and sit down, especially if you're a certain age. You want to, or a quick bite if they can make quick things that are quick to go, kind of bang bang kind of deal. So it depends on what I mean, people are gonna have to stop and eat. So, but at least the to go factor should be a must for drinks because there's a lot of stuff down there to do.
We got to see why these guys are failing. Let's take a look at what's going on.
To get the customer perspective, John has called in a favor from out of town.
Here they go. See Billy and Natalie?
Yep.
I mean, it seems very very conspicuous. Like, John Taffer just sitting outside of a window, hanging out there.
Probably like four or five cameras around it.
They walk right by the place. All right, turn around. There's the science of capture, guys. There was no lighting to pull them in, no person outside to invite them in. I think we're supposed to go in here.
I think so too.
Are we going in?
There we go, finally inside.
Looks dead.
In addition to the cameras that have been following Turtle Bay staff, John has placed hidden
kitchen
cameras
seems
around
tiny.
the bar to capture Billy and Natalie's customer experience live.
Hi guys. What do you have?
About what are your hand grenades?
Turtles. We do not sell hand grenades. We sell turtles.
All right, guys, they're ordering the signature drink.
That looks like a grenade.
Somewhat a grenade.
Well, if you just looked at the bottom of it, I think that's where you see that grenade thing. But I think the branding there isn't terrible. Look, they got the turtle. They have their own glass. Like they have some ideas of what they're supposed to be doing, but not.
Yeah, a point of a difference.
Yeah, well,
but how much of a difference? That's always the key.
Yeah.
Turtle. The hand grenade across the street is a famous green cocktail. This guy opens a bar 300 feet away. And what color is his cocktail? Green.
Green.
Rather than having his own identity, he's trying to compete with the hand grenade.
You got to be original and do something that's different to bring people in.
Oh my God! Why would anybody ever drink that on purpose?
That's not a good sign.
It's like super sour and has a really bad aftertaste.
My chest is still burning.
Just look at the way they're serving this cocktail. If they had fresh citrus, it's going to continue to oxidize that cocktail, which has to be masked with more sugar and makes it even worse of a drink.
You guys have any authentic New Orleans food? We're from Ohio.
We do have gumbo. Is it good?
Let's go to the gumbo. We're getting the gumbo, chef. The gumbo.
Oh, that's not good.
So, chef, look at this.
Does it look like they're going to
should be
Applebee's
outlawed.
or something?
Oh God. No,
It's a
no
food
way
service
trash Applebee's.
It's not fresh.
Anything a
It comes in
microwave in a restaurant should be illegal.
Yeah.
plastic bag from a
It
food
doesn't-
service company.
Wow. I mean, you come to Atlanta from the best gumbo. I just don't believe it come out of a can.
All right, guys.
Lumpy. Smells like bean and bacon soup. Now remember, guys, Billy's a kitchen manager. He's looking. He knows that's a food service product. Pretty obvious that was made out of a bag.
Whoa!
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
That's just wrong. What's amazing to me is an owner will sit in that bar and watch that all day long and think that's okay. I've seen enough. This bar has no identity. It's totally a copy of the bar straight across the street. It's time for me to go in, meet with the owners, and tell them exactly how I feel.
John enters Turtle Bay.
So that's really tough when you're trying to have your own business in a competitive market. You know, it can seem tempting to like, hey, it's working for them. Let's just kind of take it, tweak it a little bit, and it'll work for us. But if you don't like really understand the concept of like why they did the things that they did in the first place, you're just copying what they did. You likely are going to miss the big key sticking points of what makes them successful versus what makes you successful. They're not successful because they have a green hand grenade, right? They're successful because their business, they're operating their kitchen with like actual like kitchen, actually like operating it like a real kitchen and not just a microwave. Like, oh, we have gumbo because that's what we're supposed to have, not because we're trying to elevate the gumbo to the next level. We're not, we're trying to take things to that next level.
The success factor is because of location, because beyond Bourbon, and I'll tell you firsthand, there's a lot of other bars on Bourbon Street that are just straight dumps. Like you go in there and you just feel like you catch something, and it's just you can just tell the food's not gonna be good, and that's just the common thing that's there. It's sort of like going to New York City in Times Square. So much traffic, so much people going in and out. You'll go to a chain place like a Applebee's or a Ruby Tuesday, and it'll be the most garbage food you've ever had, but they don't care because there's a million more people in and out. I mean, not now because of COVID, but there's next person in and out the door, in and out the door. They don't care about repeat customer because it's just a tourist destination.
This diagram makes this place look huge compared to what it looks like on camera. It looks very small on camera.
It's that same feel. When I went, it has that same feel to it. It was very open. That was the cool part about it. And you can kind of get that vibe. And they extended it too when they added a little bit towards the end. Spoiler alert. If anybody hasn't watched this in 10 years.
A 2,700 square foot venue with a large dining room and an L-shaped bar containing 3 speedwells, 4 beers on tap, and 2 POS setups.
It's a little nerve-wracking not knowing where things are going to go. Maybe he doesn't know it all, but maybe he does.
I want to talk about integrity for a minute. Why did you copy everything from across the street?
I didn't copy everything. You got to realize a lot of that was my ideas.
But you sold it to them. I mean, you sell a business to them, you get paid, you walk away, then you try to steal everything that they bought and paid for, then they sue you, then you spend $100,000 on lawyers to protect your thievery. That's unethical.
Okay. So we missed out on some of the early parts there where he owned the Isle bar, sold it, and then opened up another bar and took the same idea. So it wasn't him just copying those things. So, but we as the entrepreneurs, we as the business owners, we as these creative people who want to create experiences for customers, especially in the bar industry, or restaurant industry, we have to think like what's our next step, right? Where's the future go? There's a great example around here in South Jersey. In fact, I think in your area too, Mario. Do you remember Commerce Bank? Did they go all the way up to your area? Your neck of the woods?
Somewhat close. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, they sold out to TD Bank, and now the guy who's founded Commerce Bank started up Republic Bank with the same scheme that he had before. But now the banks look totally different. They have a whole new design. They feel much more open. It's a totally like next evolution in the banking sector there. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you sold it to them, and you're like, now we're going to come back and do the same thing. Like, we're going to make TD Bank 2.0. I mean, there's a whole generation of people now that don't even know, never even heard of Commerce Bank before, because it was like 12 years ago, 15 years ago. So there's, how many people have come up and open up bank accounts that they know TD Bank, but they don't know Commerce Bank. So, it's good. I think the other thing here is him challenging whether John Taffer knows anything. And like, dude, this is season 3, episode 1 of the dude's show. Like, have you not seen the show?
Well, most people still haven't seen the show now. I get people looking at me like I'm 4 heads when I tell them what I do and what the show is and I have to explain. So, but I had a feeling you were going to say this because those early episodes, you get the people that are just not really sure what he's about because they probably never saw it, they probably heard of it, or they probably think it's another one of those reality shows that were before him, to where it could be just like a joke or something. So who knows at that point. So you notice that a lot with the very first shows, that they were just not really sure how to trust him or if they could, opposed to now the newer seasons where they know what he's about, they know what's going to happen. They pretty much are either going to do it for a way to try to get out of the business and sell it, or just to get a free bar redone. So it definitely, you could tell a difference from the early on.
But they still signed up to be on the show, right? So that's, to me, like, that's the thing. Is like, you signed the paper, right? Like, you agreed to do this. You sought this out. So we'll see.
It's also people's pride that gets in the way. That no matter what anybody does, and any job people have, the minute they get tested in any kind of way, that's going to trigger something to where they're going to have to bark back. Happens to all of us.
Yeah, ego is a killer, man.
I'm not a thief. I've worked hard, and I've proven myself as a good person.
If I was opening this bar, there's one color that I would not make the drink, and what do you think it is?
I'd guess green.
That turtle doesn't even look good.
I'd guess green.
Like what is it? Looks like, is that a frog? It looks to me, it looks like a frog. Yeah, like a melted frog.
Of course, because it's right across the street. What decision did you make? The exact one you should make.
I think there's a lot of things that we do, people copy off what we do too. I mean, I'm focused on beating them.
But that's not the way to do it. If you see this on the street, you think it's a hand grenade. If you see this on the street, you think it's a hand grenade. There is nothing about this cocktail that makes it unique or marketable. Really creative, huh, guys? I mean, this is really dynamic, guys. This is going to make me a fortune. You have no individuality.
I mean, my cup's bigger, my cup's a turtle, my cup's a different color, my cup is totally different.
You're actually helping them. A green drink walks by, you know what somebody says? Oh, that's one of those hand grenades.
I think it was different enough, and
This is a copy. Copies always underperform the original. That's why this drink is a piece of garbage.
Well, I mean, that and the fact that it looks terrible.
Why this drink
like, it just does not look good at all.
Piece of garbage. So I walk by here, I see no to-go sign. Up to 80% of the cocktails in this city are sold how on this street? So I have no to-go sign. I got a building that doesn't hit. You with me, guys? So
it's the simple things, right? It's the simple things, the simple call to actions, the simple things that people aren't really thinking of because of the fact that they're like they are in the moment, right? You need to prepare for them to just be able to look at it, know what it is, decide I want this, and make a move to get it.
Good manager?
I think so.
What's your beverage cost be?
Well, I do have some issues. I mean,
you don't know. What's your labor cost be?
That I couldn't tell y'all.
About 8 points below what you're running now, 28%. So you got a guy running your bar doesn't have a clue what the numbers add up to.
It's surprising when Steve didn't know some of the numbers because he's more of the managing partner of the day-to-day operations. You know, we're a partnership.
That's always, yeah. I mean, it is all about the costs. It's all about the numbers, and it's a shame when people don't know, like, when they should know, right? Or at least if you didn't understand the question, it's loud. I don't know what time it is. You know, maybe it's 10 o'clock at night or something. Maybe ask, get some clarification, and then be like, oh yeah, here's the numbers. Maybe they called something differently.
So I should take some responsibility too.
Right now, you're a glorified host. You shake hands, you talk to people, you work with the employees, but you don't manage the business. You're a failure. And I want that. It isn't because if you don't admit you're a failure, then you'll create every excuse in the book. Blame yourself.
You're not gonna sit here and look at my face in my
place and call me I just didn't. I'll do it again. You're a failure.
Definitely does not care about telling the truth.
No, definitely does not care.
So you gotta love about the man.
But he doesn't have a clue what even a beverage cost is. He's not really a manager. He's a glorified host. Question, are you lazy or do you not care?
It's neither one of those things.
Well, you better prove it to me because I think it's one.
I can prove it. I'm not afraid to prove it. I have no problem proving to you I'm not a failure. I'm going to work my ass off to make sure this place turns into something.
You too. Right? You put $500,000 into this place. Think of all the decisions that you made that led you to this place. That should bother you, right? Brad doesn't seem to care.
I mean, when you see all the people that are in the restaurant with them right now, it does. It should be a big red flag that, like, yeah, maybe they're not getting enough business throughout the whole week, but like clearly they probably have some overpouring issues. Their numbers are not right because if they're still not making money and they still have people in the bar, it's just not. It's not. Something's not adding up and should get you to question, like, where's the problem, right? Where's the leakage? Where can we fill in the blanks?
And usually it's the simplest thing, like just managing the costs, like you said, just figuring out the pours. Like he said in past episodes, all you got to do is figure out that stuff. You don't even have to change a single thing in the place, and you can already show a profit. It's just about caring about changing.
Yep.
He's in a hole of $500,000. But he sits there smiling as if life is good. If I was out of $500,000, I'd be pissed. Guys, Turtle Bay is dead.
Turtle Bay's not dead. I mean, he thinks he's going to get rid of this brand that we've worked hard to build. He's going to have to show me something to make me believe he knows not just the bar industry, he knows New Orleans.
I mean, it's always interesting to see, like, the most vehement, like, I'm dead set against this, and then he ends up becoming one of the biggest, evangelists for John.
Yeah, because they humble. They see the truth, and that's when they know, when they figure out the realism with it all, and they see the proof in the pudding kind of deal.
Yep.
By experiencing it, and then money talks in the end, and it's like, hey, this works. Let's continue.
It does.
Tonight with Brad and Steve, John meets with the staff to identify any additional issues.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming in here this morning. My name is John Taffer. I have opened, conceived, marketed, or operated more than 800 bars, and I'm going to give you everything I got. I want to really talk for a couple minutes now.
It's a lot of staff for a place that's not making any money.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to think that's a staff those places are open late, so you have a lot of time slots in there. They open first thing in the early daytime and then open till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yep.
So you got to have that.
Exactly the same drinks and recipes that she does?
Well, there's no set recipe list.
So the answer is no.
Yeah.
There is not a set trainer, and as bartenders we take liberties, but we kind of have a lot of freedom as far as making the drinks, and so I think some consistency there would help a lot.
We can't manage our costs that way, but that's why management has to manage. Have you made any effort to achieve it at all? Has he trained anybody in this room?
I feel like we work with adults here. I'm not a babysitter.
You are a babysitter. Welcome to management.
I expect them to act like adults when they're at work and do what they're supposed to do.
And they expect to be led by somebody who takes them down a path of success. Are they leading you to success? Who the hell's making money? No one. You're the one who's wrong.
The crazier thing than not knowing what the drink ratio and everything else is letting a TV barman come in here and change the bar overnight.
Oh, you see his face. Like, he's ready. He's like ready to rip.
A TV barman. Okay. Yeah. No, that's terrible.
If you watch these early episodes, though, it's one of the first times they're actually referring to something as TV, or even the word bar skew. They'd never really said that in the beginning episodes, like him purposely saying it to the people, and say it was almost like they don't say that it's a show yet, and then eventually over time they embrace it. But yeah, the minute he was one of the first ones to actually acknowledge that to him, and it just triggered him.
Oh man, I mean that. Yeah, so look, it can be intimidating to have somebody come in and tell you that you're not doing it right, and that's as a not only a business owner, but if you want to be a better manager, if you want to be a better leader, understanding where you don't know, where the deficiencies are. Like, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I know that everything's not perfect, and I know I have some issues that I could work on. But then when he gets called on his said issues, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, things aren't that bad. You're wrong, and you're a TV barman. That's that's so offensive.
It's that pride that people take, and sometimes people have such a mediocreness about themselves. They're willing to accept a ceiling, and they assume they're doing it right, and they kind of settle. Even a place like that, I'm sure all the other places that are down there, I'm sure they're okay. They get by, but they don't want to go higher.
Well, and that's
willing to accept.
Mario, that's a thing though. Is if you're just getting by, which they aren't getting by, they are very much heading towards the closing the doors, right? And that's the thing. It's like if you're just getting by and you're just okay with just getting by, that's not great. Maybe you should look to sell the place while you are getting by, while you have books that look like, okay, the potential here is bigger, but I'm just not able to I'm not willing to take it to that next level. Maybe it's time to fold and get out while you can. Sell this, sell this bar. But if you're actively going deeper into debt, if you're actively not making money, then you actively need to be finding where the inefficiencies are, which I would love to talk about in a second, right after Mario explains who he is, what he does, and where you can find him.
Hello, my name is Mario Altamari. Don't want to say I'm a crazy obsessed fan of Bar Rescue, but I guess I am. And John Taffer himself, he's literally one of my biggest idols. I grew up in the restaurant business all my life. I've been around so many bars and restaurants and clubs all my life growing up. And one day I came upon this show, and it intrigued me. And everything about it, I just fell for it. And when it came to the science, when it came to everything with measuring and costs and just the pure, everybody loves the drama with it and the arguing and the fighting. I look at the bigger picture because I'm a business guy. And the obvious potential that these people are handed sometimes when they get free places from family or they have such a great deal with something and they just piss it away. So, but yeah, my hobby, I actually been doing it for quite some time now. I go all around the country to all the places that were on this show. Whether they're still open or they're now closed or changed to something else, I make it my effort. I take a nice little trip once a month. Wherever I go, I map out where all the places are and I give them all a try. And I like to take pictures of everything. I post them online, hashtag everything. You can find me at Bar Rescue Tours on Instagram. That's my dedicated page, not my personal page. You don't see all my random other stuff that I like to post. So, but yeah, it's been my hobby for quite some time, and it's a simple thing. You just simply go somewhere, travel, and get some food and drinks.
And it's spelled like you have it in your down there, bar underscore rescue underscore tours. And you've had John Taffer like some of your posts, which is always awesome.
That's my little phantom in me that I freak out. Like, I've met celebrities and done other things around television stuff in my life, and that doesn't hit me like that hits me, and I get all excited. And I've met a lot of experts that follow my page that have been on the show. A lot of the owners, especially these two owners right here that are on this show, they get ripped apart. Especially Steve, such a nice guy. When I met these guys a couple years back, awesome guys. And I love what they've done with their place and kept it going. And they became basically like the icon. I feel the greatest place I've been to overall. So it's cool. It's cool seeing these people building something and have a following, so I don't look like some nut job like Jack Black and Steven Silverman attacking Neil Diamond kind of thing. If I ever was to meet the man, I did vote for him for president in the last two elections. So people say I wasted my vote, but I guess if you ask anybody, if you're one side, you're going to say the other people wasted their votes as well. So what difference does it make?
Well, thank you so much for being here, Mario. And if you want to work on your business, growing your business's profit, go over to superjoepardo.com/rocket and get my free Profit Rocket guide. It's a free PDF you can get right into your inbox by going to superjoepardo.com/rocket, dropping your email address in on that page. And you can learn 5 proven methods I use to grow businesses' profit with that free PDF guide. If you want to get at me, I'm down in the comments below pretty much 24/7. And if you want to get at me on social media, it's at Super Joe Pardo on all social media. So let's watch this guy get a surgery done.
I feel so bad. He's such a cool dude. I feel so bad, but hey, it humbled him.
I'm here to change the bar overnight. First of all, I'm not a TV bar man. I've got a 35-year reputation in this business, and there is nobody more respected in our industry than me. And these freaking cameras don't mean to me. Brad
I
doesn't
mean,
care.
they might mean something now, you know, all these years later. But at the time, it probably, you know, not as much.
So Steve is on a free-for-all. This place has no controls at all. You now work for me. You guys work for me too. I'm going to take this place and I'm going to change every dynamic of it.
If I come in with some chicken cup, you're going to hear about it. I fought for that turtle and to prove that it was different, and we're proud of it. So I'm not going to get rid of the turtle.
I don't know. I don't think I would be that proud of that cup.
Or this cup.
Oh, look at that.
Actual grenade from the show. Went down there. There's actually like 3 of these places on Bourbon Street now.
That's a weird.
They're okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything special, but you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell why he was freaked out. No individuality.
Comes with the wow factor, and he better come strong.
The cup you have now is a piece of cup. So I'm going up. I'm not going down.
John brings in his experts so they can assess the practical problems in the bar, starting with the kitchen.
What goodie we have here? Gumbo. Date, label, when was it made? Did y'all make the gumbo? No. The biggest thing was talking about me is the gumbo out of bag. This is New Orleans, the capital gumbo of the world. That frozen stuff, not gonna cut it.
So look at this gasket, guys.
Yep.
You can see the filth on my finger, but watch this, guys. I've got a really new technology called a bacteria count. And what it does is, using a swab, I can wipe something down, put it in this device, and it tells me the exact count of bacterial organisms that are on any surface electronically. In order to pass the swab test, a surface needs a count of under 2,500 bacterial organisms. If it's more than that, it fails the test. Oh my God. 4 million organisms are in that very spot. What does that word say on the bottom?
Failure.
Zones fail. If I go through the
This
kitchen
was all before COVID. Who would have known?
Yeah, right.
full of these swabs, what is that screen going to say to me every time? Well, that's not a doubt. I'm not doing my job. If I see this reading again, I will fire your ass personally, and I'll love every minute of it, because this is infuriating to me. That's why management has to manage. I see the look on your face, Brad. You're disappointed, aren't you? You got $500,000 in this place, man.
I mean, it doesn't take a swab to tell them that it was dirty. I mean, the camera did that. Did it pass the camera test? Because if it doesn't pass that, you know, then it's
it's the numbers that tell it all. People can see something and don't care, but once they see a number and the word fail and a chance to get shut down, then that's when the reality really strikes.
Yeah.
I want you pissed off.
There's some stuff that I'm hearing that I don't want to hear. I think the cooks have to take responsibility for keeping the stuff clean. And if they can't figure that out, we'll have to find someone that can.
I'm going to go through this kitchen tomorrow with this device.
But it's the management that has to hold them accountable to make sure that they are cleaning it on a regular basis, you know, every night, right? It's a lot of work. It's not for the lighthearted here, but it's something that has to be done, because it steamrolls so out of control so quickly. You're like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow.
And it's we
wiped it down. It's all good.
And you simply do it once a night. It's going to save a lot of big problems like this. Or when they break down a kitchen, they clean it. It takes them like 8 hours to clean the kitchen. It's like, it could all been prevented if you just simply do little stuff here and there. But people get lazy and used to their ways, and they're not reprimanded for it. So that it's a trickle-down effect.
Yep.
And it better freaking be clean. Your ass is on the line. Let's go to work, guys.
I live this job. This is not a job. This is a lifestyle. So I'm going to do what it takes to get this thing to where we want it to be.
Bars are about reactions, right, guys? Something I noticed is there's no logic to the direction of pourers back here. Pourers for call brand liquors always swing to the right, label faces out. If I'm going to buy a premium product, I want you to see that label. The bar brand faces to the left, and the label faces me.
See, it's those little things like that doesn't they don't talk about that as much on the newer episodes, like the little like the science of psychology and things like that as much.
That's what I miss a little bit, as more like they still at least do breakdowns when they talk about different drinks that they make and the foods. That's always fun, but sometimes when they just rush and just care about the drama of the show, it kind of sucks. This is the stuff I love, those little sciences to where you can watch this show and then get a good view of about owning all your own business, even from scratch, and by the simple little techniques.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be a bar, for sure.
Yeah, it could be anything.
You're showing the great stuff, you don't show them the other stuff. Subtle things like that make a big difference, guys.
Just looking at these drink machines, they're just churning all night. Is there fresh juice in the turtle?
Yeah, we make it batch by batch.
Once a week, we break down all 6 machines.
Now, after you finish cleaning the machine, what do you do with that product?
We put the product back in there.
There's juice in that product. Could be in there for months, isn't it? You keep adding and adding and adding to old product, correct? That's not cleaning.
You're topping off. It's really nasty to think that they just top off what was already in there. So you could have some really old drink in that machine.
Now, could you do that with another food product? Could you take bad gravy and just keep adding more gravy to it? No. In fact, you can't do that with citrus juices either. You've been in the business 17 years, you don't know that? It's not. If you want to communicate.
You know what? It's about, the idea is that you're saving money the wrong way, right? Like, we're not going to get rid of product. You don't get rid of product. You don't throw out that chicken that might show as being outdated. But yeah, it's only a day out, or was only out of temperature for a little while. We're gonna look the other way on this one. And that's, those little, it just steamrolls into a bigger problem. Like, hey, there is no problem with our product. We'll just keep it rolling the way it is.
Hey, what I'm saying isn't Steven. I'm not going to tolerate that, man. If you think it's you're in the wrong freaking business.
It just seems like every time I turn around, something is done wrong. It's all my fault. Brad needs to be accountable. Other people have to be accountable for it too, not only me.
Oh, I'm sure the other people that they're not responsible for the product were the ones saying, "Oh yeah, it's cool. We'll just keep adding on top of it."
They settle. Like that's what happens. You see it in every place. As common sense as it can be, they'll be like, "I don't care. I just come in, I clock in, I do what I got to do." They probably don't eat or drink any of the stuff that's at the place. They never go to the place, and they're willing to settle, and it happens in so many businesses. It's like what he said in previous episodes when he talked about the worrying about the little things and reusing. It's like what he said: penny smart, dollar stupid.
Yep, absolutely.
They save the dumb stuff for what? What are you really getting in the end?
Yep.
You telling me how to around this.
I thought he was pretty hard on Steve, and maybe he was an easier scapegoat because he's here all the time. But guess what? I'm just as responsible as he is for some of this stuff.
Are you angry right now?
Well, that's clap, because that is the attitude you should have, right? Is that you have that you have a problem too, right? You've been there, you've seen the problems. Like, you could say something too. You could have it starts at the top with management, and your management is just as well. Can I just say, I don't understand the whole turtle, like, let's have a license plate. And the one from Jersey, coincidentally, where I'm from, says grenade free.
Oh, well, you know what a grenade means?
No. Well,
in Jersey, if you watch Jersey Shore, grenade means like an unattractive woman or a train wreck. It's just that's what in Jersey Shore they used to call all like train wreck chicks when they would go out. Down there, grenade free, I would assume it's hand grenade on a stab to Turtle Bay.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the tropical isle.
It's just odd that it's on the Jersey plate. I don't even know. Why would you have plates on the wall?
It's like a lot of places are like that. They consider it dive bar. The dive bar feel, everybody likes to say, but they confuse what dive bar is really meant to be. Yeah. It's like, dive bar is meant to be a dumpy shithole. I'm like, no, it's
a catch-all for everything.
Yeah,
like,
it's an aesthetic. Like, you're supposed to have that feel, but it's still supposed to be clean.
Yes,
and have a warmth feeling, and attract people who want to come, especially women.
Thought process behind what's on the wall.
Yeah, you see that everywhere at so many bars. Or the worst is when they put dollar bills all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's just so trashy looking, but it's over time. People just do that, and they fill it back up.
Because I'm not making a fool out of you. Candidly, you're making a fool out of yourself. All I'm doing is reacting to what you're saying or you're not saying. So if you want to stop looking like a fool, I suggest you start giving me some intelligent and responsible answers, and then you'll stop looking like a freaking fool.
Oh, we got pushed. We got pushed to the limit there.
Between those two burgers. Is that one is a kid burger, one is a big burger? If those went out to the same table, I wouldn't like getting the smaller one, would you?
Yeah. Come on, Jeff, you know better than that. When we say consistency, those little things will make a big difference.
Yes, you start giving me some intelligent and that responsibility, because until he does, he's going to continue to be a loser.
One downfall in the kitchen is unacceptable. It can't happen. Right now, I feel pretty embarrassed. It's a learning lesson.
Was Jeff still there when you were there?
I didn't see any of the cooks. To be honest, I mean, it's been this episode is probably about 10 years old, so it's been a while. I didn't see any of the similar employees. I would assume they all went off and did other things. The one funny thing I noticed, one of the bartenders that were there, he was from Poughkeepsie, which was about a half hour away from me in Kingston, New York. And it was just very very weird how small the world really is. you meet someone and he's literally right where your hometown is. Similar to when I went down to Florida, another one that we can eventually talk about. The owner's girlfriend lives across the river from where I am now. It's just funny how things kind of intertwine. But all the people, all newer people. I'm sure the rate down there, people are in and out. Well, so many different jobs. People grow up, do other things. But I mean, the main two, Brad and Steve, they're the ones there still pumping it and doing exactly everything well, and it proves because they're so successful now because they stuck with it.
This bacteria test, one or all of them are getting fired, and they deserve it.
Oh man, what does that say? 0 and pass. 0 and pass, guys. Yesterday, I got so angry at Jeff. But you know what?
That shit better be.
He showed me he wants to learn. Awesome. Now it's time to cook, guys. Good job. Thank you. For tonight's stress test, I'm going to have them do their regular menu, and I'm going to fill this bar. Seeing them handle pressure tonight will tell me how much they can handle in food and beverage production for a new concept.
That's one thing that's changed over the years, too. Like, having the regular menu versus, like, we'll just have 2 items or 1 item, you know. And see if you can even handle that much, you know, traffic coming through.
It changes in episodes, you notice too. I think it's another way for him to learn the staff, like to test them to the limit of seeing the full potential. Because he would probably add to it where he'll pack the bar even bigger. Now it's the real way to train his staff and see what they do under pressure. But using their old menu and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. Even though deep down in the back of his head, he knows he's going to change a lot of stuff anyway, but it's just more about testing. It doesn't matter about what's there. It's a matter of what about the people in the end.
Yeah.
Guys, let's open up. I'm going to do it. You ready?
Tonight for the stress test, we're looking for speed. I'm going to give them 30 seconds to make a cocktail, and if they go over that time, we're going to mark them down. Because if a customer walks in and they don't get a drink in their hand in the first minute, there's 55 other bars right on the same street that they're more than happy to go to and get served fast.
Move, Lexi, hurry, girl, move.
I think it's great that they can come up with a different way of doing the same thing almost every episode. They're like, oh, we'll do a drink. You know, you get a tab every time you serve a drink, and like to see how many, or every time you fail, we're gonna dump it in the thing. Like, how many different ways can we come up with measuring the failure?
Yeah, it's
or the success.
It's weird. It's sort of like going back to kindergarten and how the way you train kids and you do the simplest things so they know they can do it right. Like, oh, you got a gold star for this kind of thing, or you do this for that. It's that simple way of learning, and the human mind can track better than really full pressure. They won't be able to handle it right away.
Absolutely.
Lexi is incredibly slow. Look at her.
I got 1 minute and 45 seconds on 2 drinks. So you got to speed that up a bit. Looking at Lexi now, I thought she was going to be the front runner. I thought she's one of the slower people on the team. Those 4 drinks took like 2 minutes. Okay. Over 2 minutes.
I was surprised at how many X's I got. I thought it was faster. That's all. It surprised me, but I'm still learning.
I thought it took us probably about 20 minutes to get our drinks here.
Like, yeah, you had hand a grenade.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, that's what it looks like. You got the grenade over there.
It's like, did he really have one, or was it placed there purposely? It always makes you think. Because deep down, even a hardcore fan, like you support the show, but there's always those thoughts. It's like, was that properly placed there for a reason?
Yeah. Oh God, John's
just like, off. No service. Now you didn't notice it. No, I didn't. This should piss you off. You lost about $100 bucks. Yeah, right then in that moment. You got to do better. 2 groups of people left because they wanted quick service and nobody gave it to them. If Brad and Steve had a better to-go station, this wouldn't be happening and they'd be making a lot of money. Come on, guys.
I think it was, you know, from a leadership standpoint, John there didn't decide to like totally berate him, even though he had already dug into him a lot there, you know, earlier on. And, you know, basically almost like an encouragement, like it's a negative, but it's an encouraging negative in the sense that like, hey, look, right there, $100 just walked out on your watch, right? And you can do better. You can do better. Like, he knows he can do better if he's got the experience. Reality. It's just, you know, like I always say, it's in almost every episode, every Biz Coach Reacts video. It's like every little thing, you know, builds on itself until you get to a point where it's just like there's just so much to do, and everything becomes so massive and cumbersome to get anything done that we just make exceptions and that's how we end up where we are. We end up in a big, giant mess because we make those little exceptions. We don't, you know, stay on top of things, and then we it just is what it is. It ends up being what it is.
It piles on. It's the last thing they think of, and it's just the simplest thing they should think of. It really gives them a step back to actually think of the job in a whole, where they care about a couple things, not everything. And it's a different animal when you actually want to run and manage something, opposed to just assuming you think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I keep up, okay? Don made it a point for me to realize the reason why things are dirty and the drinks are inconsistent and all these other things are going on, they're my fault. I'm definitely going to be on everybody's butt and make them accountable.
When I got here, I called Steve a failure. And tonight, he changed. He anticipated problems, he solved problems, and he supported his staff. Steve was a manager tonight.
Back in the kitchen.
That's that's great to hear, considering how he, just has totally dug into him, and obviously it's gotten through to him. Sometimes, we have to figure out the best path of going forward with people, reading people, and understanding like where they are and where they need to be, and then how we can help get them there. Sometimes just like, forcing the square peg into the round hole isn't going to always be the best method, right? And because you gotta use some touch, right? You gotta ease out a little bit, and once to see like how do they respond, right? What's the most effective way to get them to the goal, and that's where coaching is. I mean, that's what it literally is what I do. So
and Taffer, as much as everybody assumes that he's just gonna scream at you and be one way, he's very different with everything he does. Sure, he brings the hard truths, especially when it comes to numbers and raw stuff, food and all that. But then he'll learn, like you just said, once he starts seeing the development happen, he'll learn how to baby step it in a way where it's feasible for the person to try to learn better, other than just doing it one way. And he adapts well for it. Sort of like kids in school. The teacher does it one way for all, but not all can understand it. You got to have that edge of seeing how well the people can handle it and test them. And then if they notice that it's not what they're doing, then he's harder on them.
Yeah.
But when he sees light, it's like, okay, they need that encouragement. If they're showing they're basically proving herself. You want the raise, prove it, kind of deal.
Need a cup of gumbo? Right behind. That's ice cold. What? Nothing worse than cold gumbo, man.
Yes, you're right.
I decided to
I'm surprised he's allowed to use the microwave.
Gumbo. The gumbo doesn't heat up properly. It's bad. The gumbo's sour.
Here we go.
Why did they not prepare the gumbo ahead of time? Under chef's direction.
And here it comes.
I'm gonna throw up.
Give us the sound.
I just think the gumbo is so bad, make me puke. It's their fault. They should be pissing.
And then they show you the soup right afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Like right after the puke. Oh, let's pull this out of there.
You want because they're gonna make everybody sick. Did you taste the gumbo?
No, I haven't tasted it.
It's bad. I just throw up.
You did?
Yeah. How long that gumbo been out?
We take it out of the freezer and we pre-thaw it and have it sit here.
Did you bring it to temperature? Every time you eat
how
something,
would you not know to not like keep it warm?
It's like what's a temperature?
Yeah,
to make sure you bring it to 212 degrees. Otherwise, that's how bacteria grow. I taste that gumbo, now my whole stomach's up. Because which idiots now? How many people those guys make sick? Guys, we gotta have a talk here. I want to hear what happened with this soup.
We took the stuff back out of the steam table, and I guess we didn't let it sit out long enough to cool off the right way.
So you guys knew it wasn't up to temperature, right? Right?
Yes.
And you sold it anyway, correct?
You feel the fire burning.
Yeah, right. It's getting.
I was not aware.
You're supposed to be aware. That's what you get paid for.
You're correct.
Okay, next. Chef, how many times did you throw up tonight, Chef?
About 3 times.
Close this kitchen down now. You don't have the right to sell food. Damn you! How dare you get people sick?
The veins
Shut
popping
this
out.
kitchen down. I don't want any food served here tonight. You hear me? Close it the down.
Okay, so I don't know. Do you think that's real? I mean, is that?
I think
that
a
for
mix
TV?
of both.
Come on.
To be honest, I mean, I think a mix of both.
You're a chef. There's no way that some bad food made you throw up that quick.
I mean, have you been to shitty bars in the past? But people like to think this, but when they go out to their local bars and their local areas, and there's a lot of dumps out there. Where I live, there's so many great places, but then there's so many bad places. Even other places, even other states and stuff. You go to Florida, go to different anywhere you go. There's dumps like this everywhere because there's owners that don't care, and they're horrible. And you hear horror stories from everybody. It's just this gets thrown on TV, make people think it's fake. But I'm like, this is real deal. And there's people just don't care. They got people off the street.
But come on, Mary. He took a sip of the soup. It's not like he ate the whole thing.
Who knows? It could be that bad.
Come on.
Everybody react. I don't really throw up much, but I know people that throw up instantly with things. So, I mean, I know people that have to, like, shit right afterwards when they eat right away. So, who knows? I mean, it could be dramatized for the show because it is a show. That's where everybody always has to remember. But there's also, if it was really fake, it would have been probably canceled and right off the bat, like a lot of other shows that are all predetermined, all plotted. That's supposed to be a reality show, and how long do they last? A year or two? This has been 10 years almost now.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say that he didn't feel ill. I'm just saying, take a sip of the soup and you threw up about three times. I don't know. It just seems a bit much. I don't know.
It could also have been him trying, because they don't show you everything. Who knows, earlier in the night they were probably pre-cooking and he was probably testing things, and who knows if it was just a buildup of all the other crap that they have going on.
Yeah, maybe.
They only show you 2 minutes of a scene of him trying something. It could have been. They're there all day for a week, so there's a lot of behind the scenes they don't like to show you, just because it's just most of it's dead air that nobody's gonna want to watch. But who knows if he ate most of the other menu just to give shit a try.
Consistency. Typical shot. 1001, 1002, 1003. Literally, I don't have to look at this. I can look away, and I know what I'm doing. You can free pour with accuracy.
Very good.
I don't even have to look at it.
I'm devastated by doing this because our priority is never to get anybody sick. No food comes out of this kitchen until we know we're honest and we're safe. Is that reasonable? Reasonable. That soup went out to other people, didn't it? Didn't it? Went out to one person, yes. So we got other people sick. What do you say? I apologize from the bottom of my heart. This neglect. I've never been as angry in my life as I was at Jeff tonight, but I'll tell you what, it opened his eyes. He apologized to me. That tells me Jeff has a spine. If he has a spine and an open mind, I can train him.
With only 2 days left to turn
Another test.
into a Bourbon
A
Street
tapper
hotspot.
test.
Yep.
John pulls Brad and Steve in to discuss their future.
Steve is turning from a host into a manager, and I'm starting to get proud of him.
Come on, guys, try and keep up, okay?
But Brad is like a wounded puppy. He doesn't seem to have the passion to fight for his business anymore. Until I can get him to put Tropical Isle in the past, we can't move forward.
So there we go, Tropical Isle. For a year and a half, you've been fixated on beating this place. Right. It became personal to you.
There was a time in my life that I couldn't even walk on Bourbon Street without getting sick to my stomach. When I got bought out of Tropical Isle, I lost the drive.
What, like
the
the
drive
chef?
that created juice that made me so successful in that business, because I felt like something that I made got taken away from me.
This stuff pulls you down, man.
But you
it takes
sold
away
it.
your
He sold it. What are you talking about? You know, taking away what? Because you got an offer that you didn't refuse? I don't know.
There's probably
more to the story.
Like,
yeah, I'm sure there's more to the story.
Who knows if he got like a muscled out kind of deal, or they
maybe it was
out,
only
so they bought him out, and then there's probably towards the end of the relationship of that group of people. Who knows if there was bad blood and a lot of issues going on to where everybody's pride again gets in the way. And all right, sure, you bought me out, but now I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
Like my goal is to beat you now.
It takes away your ability to fight. I don't want you to fight to beat them. I want you to beat everyone.
Right.
Do they mean anything to your future?
Nothing.
Leave it behind now, buddy, okay? Positive energy. Focus on the future.
It's time for me to move
Ding,
on
ding.
and just take the bull by the horns, because I'm ready. This is the best place in the world to have a bar. And guess what? I want the best.
Let's go to work.
Now that Brad has agreed to make a new start, John lays out the bar's new concept for the staff.
What do people come to New Orleans for? New Orleans experience. We know that. But New Orleans is what? Mysticism, right? Spirituality. The history of this city. We are going to take that element, and we're creating a focus upon a theme that nobody else has on the street.
John, we don't want a good one. We want great. The best. We don't want him coming out of that kitchen until he has the best gumbo on Bourbon Street. We want the best specialty drink on the street. We want the best cup on Bourbon Street.
Okay.
We're believing in you guys.
Well, I think that's a reasonable request, and it's great to see your fire back. When Brad gave me that challenge, I knew I had him. He lit up. He got excited about the direction we're going in. And now that he's ignited, we can ignite this business. Let's go to work, guys.
Love seeing it.
You can tell them they're passionate.
So now
They're
we're going to
excited
make
now.
fresh, authentic gumbo. Every authentic gumbo needs to have the Holy Trinity, green peppers, onion, and celery.
The gumbos that we had as compared to the gumbo they showed us to make now, this right here is so far better. It has fresh Louisiana products in it. Who that?
Well, compared to what? Just opening a bag and microwaving it?
The processed manufactured crap that people just buy in these, like places like Applebee's or all these other crap holes. They're the worst.
I mean, look, I got a soft spot for Applebee's, but I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. I'm done with all chains.
Smell it? I'm in heaven right now.
And it's just going to bring in that much more people.
We got to make sure we bring this soup up to 212 degrees and then hold it at 140 degrees at all times. So if you do that, there will never any bacteria go to your soup. Welcome to New Orleans.
That's what gumbo supposed to taste like.
You have a couple of cocktails here with multiple ingredients. Our drink menu, we wanted to capture the tourist. So to do that, we need to stand out of Bourbon Street. We want to create a new cocktail that's known just in line with the hand grenade and the hurricane. We need to get to that iconic status. My resurrection cocktail, we're going to be using Captain Morgan Spice Rum. Who else is using a call brand for their signature drink on Bourbon Street? Nobody. Start with 1.25 ounces of Captain Morgan's Spice Rum. We're going to actually add some coconut water. Blue curacao is just going to make this drink instantly turn blue. 1 jalapeno in there. Normally with any citrus cocktail, you want to shake it. Shaking it in a cocktail wakes up citrus. This is your time to shine, to show. People want to see that. Somebody walking by sees this thing going like this nice shiny metal, they're going to come in.
Before John transforms the bar, he sits down with Brad and Steve to go over the proper figures for any successful bar.
Guys, there's so many bars that have great top-end sales and go out of business because they can't turn it into profits.
Yeah.
I want you every month to look at your beverage cost, divide it by your beverage sales, and make sure you're under 21%.
Right.
Whenever you're over 21, the two of you huddle and figure out what we do to change it.
When it comes to beverage costs, there are 3 main categories. Bottled beer is the most expensive product at 25% cost. Draft beer is the second most expensive at 22% cost. Premium spirits only run a 14 to 16% beverage cost, making them the cheapest to buy and the easiest to profit from.
So you, as his partner,
I love it.
Yeah, no, I
love
do
seeing
too
that stuff.
Yeah,
It's simple.
Breaking it down to like, look, this is what why you want to gear people towards a specific type of drink, having your specialty drink there, right? Because you're going to make the most amount of money. It sets you apart from everybody else, and you don't have to discount it like, oh, it's dollar beer night. It's like, well, how much are you making on that?
Or like dollar margaritas at Applebee's. There's me joking on it. I'm gonna joke on it all day because
well, they get all you can drink like margaritas was like the cup was like that big or something, right?
Yeah, and all it is just straight sugar and very cheap liquor. Well, stuff like that is what always makes me wonder why these restaurants and bars, they care more about like food, where the food has always the highest food cost. Anything. Food is not really going to get you that much money. And you have your bar area where they don't even have a proper drink menu. I mean, how many times have you ever been to a place, you walk in and you ask for a cocktail menu, and they always say the same thing like, oh, we don't have one.
We don't do that there.
But I can make you anything you want. And then you're like put on the spot, like I don't know. And then you always pick.
Can I make an old fashioned? Well, hold on a second. Let me get my phone out and figure out how to make that.
It's almost like if they didn't have a food menu, so you just go in. It's like, okay, I want pizza and a lobster. It's just like, I don't know what you have for food. It's like I want something different. That's part of the experience of going out. Make something that can draw it. They can make a specialty cocktail that only they have, and they can make it in a way where it's the most profitable for them. And they market it, they put it on there instead you go to like the basic drinks that everybody's gonna know. I never understand it why these places do it, and they'll just rather settle for, all right, here's a bottle of beer, here's a bottle of beer and a burger on wing night, and you're not making anything.
Yeah.
How's the beverage cost last month? How we doing, buddy? And together get there. Okay. So what should your beverage cost be?
Beverage cost would be 21.
If I can get you to own these numbers, we're there.
Let's do it.
After a long day of training, John brings the whole staff together to review the new food and drink menus.
These are our signature food and cocktail items. Remember, these are tourists.
I'm hungry
They're not
now.
looking for a big
I know,
meal.
right?
A couple can have that. You can sell that. We each have one. We share it. It's more sellable.
That's awesome. We have a fried okra with a Cajun remoulade.
I mean, it's almost lunchtime, so I'm looking forward to it.
I know. I'm gonna just take a trip back down there.
Bourbon Street, so we gotta have a bourbon drink, a southern sour. Then we have the Resurrection. That's right on top we have the jalapeno.
And that's nothing like anything on the street. You agree, guys? The Resurrection cocktail is unique in its flavor, but it's also unique in color. Every cocktail on the street is green or red, except ours. The Resurrection is blue. When it walks down Bourbon Street, everybody's going to know where it came from.
I mean, depending on what you're looking at, I would say that's green, but sure.
Or was it like not teal, but like turquoise?
Well, like aqua.
But it's not
color.
like it's not grenade green.
No, it's not.
it's not red, so it still has a difference. And what's about to come to show what's really going to separate it, that also helps too.
Yeah.
This is your signature baby.
You know what I taste?
What?
Dollar signs.
Excellent, buddy.
With Brad and Steve on board to move forward, John reveals his plan to ensure the new bar's success.
As you guys know, we have 55 bars on the street. I've got to change this front facade to pull the eye in. I'm remodeling this bar, and I'm moving it as close to the door as I can by legal requirements. I'm also putting a full bartending station in here. Now when you walk by, that to-go hits you in the face. Next, I came up with something really cool, an attraction that's going right here. You walk by here, this is going to visually pull you in from either of those doors. So guys, these are our sciences. Pulling them in, and a whole new concept that this city's got to get excited about.
We're excited too? Way excited.
Hey guys, what's going on? Looks like we're at Bourbon Street, huh folks?
Exciting.
Brad, when I came here, this building had no individuality, no personality, and as a result, it made no money. Now you're gonna have a money machine with an identity that makes you proud. You guys ready to see your new bar? 1, 2, 3.
Bars on Bourbon Street suffer from the sameness, and to make this bar successful, I had to make it stand alone in a crowd of 55 other bars in the immediate neighborhood.
I think it's great. Everything catches your eye. I can't wait to open it up and let these people have a good time in it.
And you know what I hope catches your eye? That like button that you could totally smash so that more super entrepreneurs like yourself get this great video in their feed. If you are enjoying this, please feel free to subscribe because there is a ton of Biz Coach Reacts videos available here on my channel, as well as so many other things. So
this bar is all about a guy by the name of Edward Dubois. Edward Dubois actually lived in this
who is
village,
that?
and he was a barber and a philanthropist and a womanizer. And the legend has it that he was murdered by a bunch of his mistresses. And the fact is, his ghost is in that building. Look at that sign. That came from my buddies at Crescent Sign. Turned around for 2 days for us. Spirits. Food.
it's impressive to be able to get that sign in 2 days. I also think it's interesting that he built a story around the building, which is not something that I don't think he's done much of in many of the.
There's been a couple in the past that he's done. It's based really on when he finds the real history of a building, and if there's actually anything intriguing to let's turn that. Like he did one bar that used to be a morgue at one point, and then he kind of brought that back. And there's some other themes where he found old history that was part of the building. It's funny when they say that there's a spirit in there, and then they all get excited. It makes me think of those memes that are out there. It's like, this house is haunted, like a horror movie. House is haunted. White people all happy to run and go live in the house.
It employs all the mysticism of New Orleans, and it's fun. Guys, go inside, take a look.
That's so awesome.
Man, it looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, such a change there from where they were to where they are. I love the get resurrected, the call to action right up above me here. I was using my mouse, but that call to action is so great to have it right at the front door as people are walking in.
The to-go area, that's such key. Like that's key, especially in like other bars, like nightclubs. That one thing I never understood why nightclubs don't really have service bars, or at least an area for people to walk up to, and they always are crowded next to people with chairs. It makes life so much easy for people sitting and people standing and going.
Yeah, speaking of that, any club that has a line to get in, I mean, depending on the city and the laws, like being able to sell alcohol right there in the line to get in, to me, it's like a great opportunity.
Was it Night at the Roxbury when they came out with the idea of a bar on the outside? Like the outside's the inside, and inside's the outside. So people online can party.
better than I could even imagine. Oh, Lexi, Jose Cuervo Margarita.
What do you think, guys?
That looks great.
Edward Dubois was a barber, so this fits our concept. Somebody sits down, pour a shot, and you watch how they line up for these shots walking down the street. I bet you could sell a couple hundred shots a night from here. You agree?
I'm ready for it.
The shot chair is like unbelievably cool. Twirl me. If you walk by there, you see it, it makes you just want to get in it.
Did you get to go in the chair when you went there?
I was now when I went down there, I was going through like medical problems where I was on a medication that I wasn't allowed. I couldn't drink all of 2019.
Oh,
so
wow.
it kind of sucked. So, but I still went down there. I brought a buddy with me, and he was basically the designated drinker for the whole trip. I took one tiny sip of Resurrection. That was the only drinking I had. But yeah, he took full advantage of it. He went in the shot thing. They spun around a million times, boobs in his face, bunch of shots. Like it was cool. It was cool seeing. I took a photo with Brad while sitting in the chair, so I was technically in it.
I wonder if they've had to replace the chair by this
point.
They
have. They've done a Back to the Bar episode when they went back here, talking about everything they did, and he said they probably went through hundreds of different chairs, which is surprising, but I guess people just jump on that thing and break it. And who knows?
Yeah, they're pouring alcohol on. That can't be good for leather, things like that. And then they have to clean it.
People's weights going on all the
People
time.
wear chains on their on their pants for their wallets and stuff. Yeah.
We want to sell more spirits, guys. So what did I do?
That looks so good.
We put lighting above each of the bottle steps. So when the lights come down in the bar, what's the brightest thing in the room? The liquor bottles. This is called Cocktails on Tap. It's premium juice and liquor. The juice and the liquor comes out of 2 tubes within that nozzle, and you can make yourself these drinks in 4 seconds. Next.
Surprised they don't do that more. Haven't seen that in many of them.
It's only based on like what's in there, like those basic drinks that only take 2 ingredients.
Yeah.
Most of these other drinks that they come up with have so many different ingredients to where you're going to need a bunch of those to make a different cocktail for each one. They say you have a cocktail menu, all these different recipes, you're going to have to and some that have similar ingredients, you're going to need a bunch of those. But it's interesting. It's those new technologies that they make.
Yeah, well, it's not new at this point.
At this point,
I feel old. They're programmed to speed and efficiency, and everyone is a credit card swipe. I don't think a concept like this should be wearing T-shirts. So I just set you up with some nice shirts. Girls, we got you beautiful bustiers.
Yeah.
Next, I want to take you down to the to-go station. This is a key point. I called my buddies at Fry Fabrication, and they did a complete workstation for us. Now, rather than facing this way when people walk by, you face this way.
It's a much cleaner bar back there. It's a lot more efficient. We'll be able to pump drinks out as quickly as possible. That's what it's all about on Bourbon Street.
You gave me a challenge to create the best cup, right?
Right.
Guys,
we still haven't seen the cup. Wow.
It's a resurrection cocktail. Wow. Think of this baby walking down Bourbon Street. You see that, and you see blue, suddenly we're branded, guys. Brad, is that the best cup on the street?
Yeah, it's the best cup. You see it coming?
Steve, is that the best cup on the street, buddy?
I mean, it looks a little goofy looking to me, but
but it definitely stands out.
Do you have one there?
I do. Now at the Back to the Bar, they also explained how they got rid of this cup because it was a little too big. I think it was also like high in cost.
It looks like a pitcher.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher. It's like I look at that too. I'm like, damn, you're messed up if you do more than one of those. So they ended up changing it to a smaller version, where similar style, like a little. Like
that looks great.
And everything. Obviously, you can drink. It has the little light on there, so they can get it all attracted at nighttime of how people want to do it.
I think that looks a lot better than the giant red diamond eyes or whatever googly eyes they got going on there.
Yeah, especially a little more functional to where you can simply get around easier with it and not get smashed drinking one. The cool thing is though, they took the concept and then they kept with it by alternate just a little
Improved
bit.
Upon it.
It's not like other shows where they completely scrap it all and change it all. Let's go back to normal. Let's go back to we know better now. Let's change
that looking turtle thing that with his tongue hanging out. Like no, this is definitely an improvement.
It's something that no one else has. I'm happy with it. It's going to make people go to the new bar.
So big.
Let's go, guys. Come on, we got to get things set up quick so we can get it going. Man, I'm ready to party and have a good time and serve them the best drink on Bourbon Street.
How did they get that many cups made that quickly? That's
Taffer magic.
Yeah, some magic. I'll tell you.
Final check on the new gumbo.
Wow.
Good job, man. Thank you. Good job.
I mean, if I threw up as easy as he does, I probably wouldn't want to test any food. I think
But he knows.
somebody else.
He's a chef and a big guy. He knows his food, so that's someone I would trust.
I trust him. I'm just saying, if you take a little sip of something and you're like, oh God, like
he knows how they just made this one. Now he made sure this time around it was exactly right.
Outside, Brad and Steve welcome the thirsty crowd.
Welcome to Spirits on Bourbon, guys.
I would like one resurrection, please.
Absolutely.
We'll take the shrimp beignets and the andouille slider.
Here we go.
Damn it. We're slammed right now. We had a huge crowd outside. We had a hard time keeping up.
Lexi, you got to be fast enough to get down here so our servers can get some stuff. You got 2 people up front. You got to take parts of the bar.
Okay.
I was just trying to tell them to keep their head in the game.
Barry, you need 2 resurrections.
I got it.
Really bogging down, okay?
And keep things rolling, trying to get them move a little faster, and just make sure they had whatever they needed.
Barry, you guys need anything? You need
No, we are good, sir. Thank you.
Just give a holler if you need something, okay?
Thank you.
We had a slow start, but we picked it up because of the training, because we had more space back there. We were all faster, and we were able to double the amount of drinks that we put out. And the new outfits definitely helped the tips.
You know, one thing that stands out to me that I don't know why I never really thought about this before, but why, and maybe they do it and it doesn't make it on TV, but I feel like the stress test should have like a second stress test. Like instead of just being like, hey, we went through all this training, now like, let's just throw you to the wolves with a full crowd of people and like, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Like, you know, where's the second stress test?
I also see it as you're only seeing so much video. We're only seeing X amount of time where those people are there for all day the next day for a couple days. So they're getting training. Obviously, they're getting actual training to where they want to really air most of it. Like other episodes when they go to other bars because that bar is getting remodeled. So let's go train at this bar while you're doing this. And they only show you like a quick 2-minute of making a cocktail and making food, but they don't really show you the hours that they're actually there doing it and actual learning the systems, learning this to where it feels like it's a throw to the wolves, but in reality there's a lot of back stuff we don't see.
Well, they can fit
it in an hour episode.
There was one episode where they actually showed them at like a hotel, like in a conference room in a hotel doing all the training. Because somebody like lost their mind and like quit in the middle, and they decided to show like a little small section, a sliver of that.
Yeah,
but
I remember. What was that one?
I don't remember the business, but
I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
I know. But the 2 girls got upset because of the whole sharing tip thing, and then they basically fired him right on the stop.
Yep.
Big guy. His name was like Russell, like big dude. I remember that one.
Yeah,
like Russell City is what the bar was called. I want to say. You'd think I should know.
Maybe it was wrong. Yeah.
Kind of made me proud when they got drinks out fast, quick. I think they're definitely going to continue the name of Spirits on Bourbon.
Very good job, brother. Thank you, sir. In the kitchen, tickets quickly pile up, and a staff scrambles to put plates out in time.
We got a bunch of tickets coming in. We're a little bit overwhelmed.
Everyone's getting really impatient.
All right. Let's get those ticket time going, brother.
Guys, you need to pick it up. Let's go. We took a deep breath, started communicating to each other, and started pumping the food out.
Some beignets, 2 ogres right here. Boom, gone. Good job, guys. Way to go. Jeff took charge. Now they take it to Flatter Kitchen. I think with Jeff leadership, this bar can be the best in Bourbon Street.
The staff finds a groove, and customers devour the new food and drink items.
I'm actually from New Orleans. This is the best one I've had here in New Orleans.
Is that somebody else's light up cup there in this I saw?
I need 3 resurrections. The resurrection sold extremely well because it's blue. It was out there. People saw other people drinking it.
Where'd you get those drinks?
And I think it's going to be the most popular selling drink in the bar just because it's in your face.
On Bourbon! How you doing? Good. Turtle Bay was a baby of mine. It's always going to be a part of my life, but I can move forward now.
I'm a new man.
I think my work is done.
Ding,
You
ding.
did a great job, John. Excellent, man. That means a lot to me. You're a good guy.
Thanks.
I want the best for both of you. Happy, buddy?
Yeah.
Good luck. Congratulations. When I got here, Brad was living in a shadow of Tropical Isle. Now he has his own concept, his own brand, and his own future.
That's awesome.
I sold more to-go drinks now in the last 4 days than I did in the first 4 months I worked at this bar.
3,300 extra. That's awesome.
The biggest plus to the whole operation. It's been an eye grabber.
Oh, I was losing 15,000 a month.
Yeah.
That is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. And now they're bringing in up to $9,900 a night.
Yeah.
A night.
And they've been in a lot of other episodes from other New Orleans episodes and other ones they brought back as recon guests, and they've been always talked about because they became Taffer's golden boys. And they've said in one episode they increased by like $5 million a year in their sales, and that's proof right there. It's like, look what you can do.
That is awesome.
Promotional consideration.
All right, so that wraps up another Biz Coach Reacts video. I appreciate you watching. Please make sure if you made it this far to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm so we can get this video in the hands of more super entrepreneurs like yourself. For Mario over at bar_rescue_tours on Instagram, I'm Super Joe Pardo. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.